Let's head to side stage where Jad is standing by for an interview with Immortals mid laner.
Thank you, guys. And yes, I am with Pobelter. Congratulations on the win, although a little crazy down the stretch, actually. Talk to me about some of the decision-making in the comms at the very end as your Nexus was almost going down.
Well, we were like, all right, it's fine. We can take it slow. Huni was backdooring their inhibs at the time, so we were like, that's fine. We can just trade mid and bot inhib. And then we were like, oh, wait, they're trying to go for the finish. Huni, we need you. And then they started hitting the Nexus, and then we were just like, okay, we need to go in. Just go in, guys. And then everyone was just really excited because we won, and our Nexus was like 20% HP. So that was basically how it all happened.
2-0, easy game. Talk to me a little bit about your first experience playing against Envy, though, because these guys were undefeated coming into the game. You are now technically ahead of them in the standings because of the tiebreaker at 4-1. What did you think of this team playing against them for the first time?
We weren't entirely certain on what to expect because even though they were 4-0, it was against some weaker teams, I think, or well, teams that just haven't been playing to the top. But also they were 4-0, so obviously there's something to be respected. So I don't know, it was kind of like we're not going to underestimate them, but we're also not going to respect them too much. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually been a lot of discussion on the meta with all the different champions we're seeing in the top lane. Coming from Immortals' side, who you guys claimed you didn't quite read the meta properly back in playoffs, how do you feel like you have a grasp on the current game right now?
Well, I think that our draft that game was maybe a little bit questionable because we have like Lissandra, but we also have Azir Jinx, which just wants to kite back, and Lissandra wants to dive in. So I don't think that was really the best call, but you know, Huni was really confident on the champion, and he was pretty much carrying like the first 20 minutes of the game alone. It was just, I think it just started to look really bad because we made some mistakes, and then, you know, once it gets to late game, Trundle Gragas is just really hard for consistent damage dealers to deal with because they keep disrupting the team fight, making it hard for us to just stand still and auto them.
Yeah, and also this is one of the few 2-0s you guys have actually had throughout. You've actually ended up playing a lot of best of threes all the way to 3 games. Knowing that you guys were 17-1 last split, how do you feel just about the team in general as you move forward in this split?
This time around, we're focusing less on the record and more on just trying to improve from game to game because last split we realized even if you have a mediocre or just kind of decent regular split performance like TSM did, I think they finished, what, 6th, and then they made it to Game 5 of the finals. That's the most important point. Obviously, you want to win as many games as you can to get a good seeding, but the focal point is to just improve as much as possible. All
right, well, thank you very much, Pobelter, for talking to me, and good luck in the rest of the split. For now, though, we're going to send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Jad. Pobelter there talking about how the focus for Immortals this split a little bit different than it was for the spring split. And as of right now, though, they're still picking up the victories, right? They're not undefeated like they were in the last split for so long, but a 2-0 over Envy, who was one of our top 2 teams, is going to feel good for them here. I feel like the best way to break this down, though, since it was such so much craziness, is to just talk about it as we see it all happen again. So we're going to work through some of the biggest moments of this game. Starting 22 minutes in, Immortals is going to grab a 4-0 here, plus Baron to get off to a really sweet lead.
And this is kind of what Pobelter was talking about in the interview where he said Huni kind of carried the early part of the game. Here, this fight starts with a massive flank by him. He gets a double kill. He also goes in for the root to get these guys set up for the Pobelter. Azirsek that's going to come in here. Oh, I think he just flashed, actually. But that was like the setup for that Baron play, and they got a Baron at the end of it. But that was like Huni at his best part in this game, and then you kind of see why they say later, like maybe it wasn't so great, because the comp as a whole doesn't work well, and we'll kind of see that in some of the other replays.
We're going to see that pretty much in the next replay, 26 minutes in now. Immortals has Baron here. They get a little overzealous, or actually Baron just fell off. They get a little overzealous, though, here, diving to the top lane in Hib. They do pick up this initial kill, but a nice turn here from Envy is going to net them 3 for 2 and a little bit of a window back into this game.
Right. What you don't see is off camera, Seraph just ran at Turtle and mauled him to death. Like there was no protection, despite the fact that you have a Braum, Rek'Sai, and Azir. But they're using all that to dive in. Where, you know, if they played their comp correctly, I think they would have been fine, and they would have like snowballed that game at that point. But they get so tunneled on these dives that you're really playing a siege comp when you look at it with a Lissandra. And as the game kept going on, you saw that having pure tanks really outperform them because they could actually go in and all Lissandra can do is like ult herself, Zanya's herself, and then she dies.
Yeah, she's buying time, but you know, on top of the contrast is that the Trundle is actually doing damage to your AD carry while also buying time and being that wall.
Right,
in
and
front.
like putting CC behind you, the Gragas can go in,
Right.
though there were some missed Gragas engages.
But it does show Immortals still not afraid, never afraid to make gutsy calls, gutsy plays. Some of them, though, not working out for them.
For sure.
This does bring us to now 35 minutes in the game. Envy's going to finally get their kind of surge of dominance back into this game of 5 for 3 in the mid lane. They will eventually go take Baron off the back end of this fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, it starts out kind of with the siege situation. They go in, they use the Braum ult offensively, and Huni's coming in for the flank, but even though he kind of gets this ult onto the back line, they're already peeled back enough that they can just keep going and kiting. And Law's just untouched in the back, basically poking people down. And Seraph and Proxen are this monster frontline that we were talking about. Not Seraph. Oh yeah, Seraph and Proxen, excuse me.
Yeah.
Where they just don't die. Like, he just keeps hitting you. He gets really low here. You think he's about to die. He does die there, but then
One extra turret shot.
yeah, Proxen cleans it up. But you saw just like how much damage that front line's able to absorb versus the front line of Immortals.
Right, so from there, I actually misspoke. Envy doesn't pick up the Baron. They go start the Baron. It
Right.
does
Well,
get
it's hard
interrupted.
to remember.
But
It's
they
insane.
pick, yeah, exactly, because they've gotten Baron. They get Baron a few times. They end up killing Huni when he teleports in to try and stop it. The
Yeah.
other thing happens. We now move 13 minutes further into the game, and Immortals, they're gonna stop. They're going to be on
I love
Baron,
that
and then
flash.
Envy's going to stop this attempt here. It's a great flash. No hesitation from Seraph as Hakuho comes around the side to engage onto Wild Turtle. So an easy 2 kills picked up there. Now they will secure the Baron. This Baron is what then takes them to the Elder Dragon and will eventually lead us to the final fight of the game. Baroned up, Elder Drake with double Infernal. So plenty of damage on this team after doing the dance. Huni has already teleported back to base from securing the 2 inhibs. And as Azael mentioned, this is really just kind of miscommunication, maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah, Ninja could be on the Nexus right now and just hitting it. He has no one else really close to him, but he's chasing away from the Nexus. You think if he was hitting it this whole time, a super late game Varus has a ton of AD with all these buffs on it as well. You think he could, do that last, what is that, 1,000 health probably?
Right. And at the same time, we see Huni with a sliver of health. We see Pobelter with a sliver of health. So at the same time, the other decision could have been made. If
Right.
everybody focuses on the fight instead, you've already killed both Nexus turrets. The only thing standing is an Azir turret. You probably have the edge there too.
Right. The only other thing is the Gragas. There were a lot of times where Proxen kind of misstepped when he really couldn't have. He took an E in one fight where he just ended up alone in the middle of the
Right.
team. In that last situation that we didn't see in the replay, Braum got his shield up and he drops the ult. He blows 2 people back to the Nexus.
Yeah, pretty much saves them. Luckily,
Right.
Laud was able to arcane shift in, pick up one of the 2 kills on the Braum, though, of all people. So all you've
Right,
done
the
is
Rek'Sai
eliminate.
gets out.
Yeah, all you've done is eliminate the support. Reignover does get out. Either way, an incredibly close 2-0 series. I think that's
Right.
kind of what the crazy, like most people will look at this and go, whoa, Immortals 2-0'd Envy. Envy must not be that great. They might not be as good as the hype. But in all honesty, both games were very close. Envy had opportunities to win either and take us to 3.
This is the type of game where you look at the match history and you're just like, what the hell happened? It's just charts going up and down.
That's true too. The gold
Yeah.
graph here is just, it's peaks and valleys left
Yeah.
and right. Well, regardless, we do have to award our player of the game to Wild Turtle on that jinx, 9, 3, and 6. For him, it was more about the fact that he was putting out some crazy damage. Not the highest in the game, but that's more a product of Azir being able to put in her damage safely, or his damage safely from range. I don't know why I said her.
Yeah, I was like, geez.
Well, I was thinking Jinx
Yeah,
while
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Azir. Either way, Wild Turtle putting out plenty of damage. Being that late game carry, we saw him full health there at the end, definitely being a key factor in winning that fight.
Right, I think he played almost every situation correctly. The problem was his team each individually at some point did something that kind of left you scratching your head. They would go in for dives when they shouldn't, focus the wrong targets, and Turtle was, when he did die, it was usually because he's like, hey guys, I'm back here, I'm a Jinx, help me.
Well, it was when Seraph had free reign to run at his face, and then I can't fault any Jinx player for being, I don't have a gap closer, I don't have a way to get away from this guy, so I guess I'll just roll over and die. Either way, Immortals 2-0 victory over Envy. They're going to move up the standings after that victory. We're headed to a break, but don't worry because Immortals versus Envy was just the appetizer. Coming up, we've got another best of 3 between Liquid and Energy. We're back in just a few minutes with more NALCS.
Will Envy stay undefeated in matches? They've dropped a few games along the way, but always find victory at the end of the road. This time it may be a little harder as Immortals are now up 1 game looking at match point. Envy turns around as soon as Immortals is on their heels, and that's going to be Lot immediately, usually in the back line in great positioning. In a 1-1, the Soldier attack, and it's Huni to go in, quickly taking down Hakuo. The shields aren't there now for Envy, and they're trying to do their damnedest. Pobelter's up in the Zanyas, Lars on the back line, throwing out damage, a double kill for him.
I just ulted.
Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai. It's okay.
I got him.
Life steal.
I'm life stealing.
And it looks like Immortals is going to be able to hold on as they hold their breath. Seraph comes back up from the GA. That's a double kill. And Pobelter to finish one off himself. The Nexus stays alive. This has been one crazy series. Immortals will, however, take it 2-0.